Alright, what's up you guys? We're back. We're still in the truck, but her reaction video was pretty long, but wanted to release just the straight up, uncut, just honest, immediate reaction like mine was. But you guys always have a billion questions. You ask me about what my mom or parents thought of this, that, or the other. I don't know. Like, I was very young whenever I was diagnosed, so that's why we're here today. She's gonna answer your questions. This is my mother, Anita. Let's do this. You guys submitted a bunch, so we're gonna try to pick out the good ones and ones that were asked a lot.
And I wish I could answer all of them.
This one is from Claire. She said, at what age did you start feeling comfortable to leave your son in the hospital alone during tune-ups, knowing he could advocate for himself?
That's a good one, Claire. I mean, honestly, as a mom, you never truly really want to leave them. I mean, you just don't. But I think when Morgan, really maybe when he was a teenager, when he was maybe around 12, 13, and could, you know, he kind of had a lot of things down then to where, you know, if he was asked something, he could give them the answer and you know, tell them his medications and stuff like that. But maybe around 12 or 13.
I'd say that's about right.
Yeah.
All right, this one is from Emily. I'm a mom of 2 kids, a boy who is 2 and a daughter who is 11 months. Our daughter has CF. I had never even heard of CF until she was diagnosed at 2 weeks. My question is, as a mom, how do you keep it together emotionally and keep going for your kids? I'm the main caregiver of our 2 kids. My husband works 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I do the majority of her treatments and meds and handle everything with meds, insurance, and appointments.
I can definitely totally relate to that. When Morgan was a baby, well, me and Morgan's dad decided how we were going to go about this, because, you know, it was 1990, so, you know, CF was still just, I mean, it was heard of, but, you know, the treatments, things like that, it was still pretty, you know, just pretty iffy, I think. We were caught up in the Medicaid thing then, because whenever he was first put into Duke, at 2 months old, and they told us how expensive it was going to be, they said your best bet, you got to get on Medicaid. So under Medicaid, there's an income limit. So me and his dad decided, you know, or his dad, he worked all the time, so I know you guys totally can relate to that, and I stayed home taking care of him. So how did I cope? You know, I'm not gonna lie, it was extremely hard. So my heart goes out to you, because I mean, you know, you just kind of have to do the best you can, and I understand, like, the expense of it, the stress of it, just everything. So definitely make some kind of time for you whenever, you know, you would be admitted. And you know, a lot of times that I was there with you, I mean, I did a lot of reading. I just did a lot of you know, just I had a lot of time to myself. So wow, just like I said, I learned what patience means, that's for sure. So you know, but you definitely have to take time for you. I didn't do that hardly ever, and I know Morgan's poor dad didn't do it either, and that's probably what happened to our marriage. I'm just gonna get raw and real about that, because it's very, very stressful. CF can, wow, when you watch your baby and your child suffer, and you know, is going through something that, you know, is just out of your control, it takes a toll on your marriage. Well, it did mine.
Guitar Life asked, while you were growing up, how did your mom know when and how to help you if you were going through depression or anxiety due to CF? I have CF, so an answer to the question would be nice.
Guitar Life, is that what you said?
Yes. Wow.
I am, you know, I'm gonna have to be careful with this and not cry, because I didn't even know that Morgan had depression and anxiety. I had no idea. I mean, you know what? He's taught me about it. He has taught me the things that I didn't see about him when he was growing up, that totally makes me as his mom feel you know, feel really bad, because I thought, wow, I've got this all under control. You know, I can handle all this. I mean, I'm momming him, you know, I'm his caregiver and his nurse and doing all these things, you know, that I can. But I can honestly say I had no idea that he suffered from anxiety or depression through this. And because I just thought the growing process of, you know, and I mean, when he was younger and maybe when he turned a teenager, you know, that's when you kind of start thinking of those things, when you're a teenager. But my God, I mean, he's told me, you know, he's had it his whole life. And, you know, maybe you think, well, how does a young child or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old have anxiety or depression? I totally believe they can. Absolutely. You want to answer? It's to you too.
Like I said, like, I think I brought it up a couple times, but it just kind of got brushed aside. I think it was more so just like, oh, I have a kid and it's hormones and you're like a teenager, like, you'll be all right. That was kind of the answer, just like, oh, you're fine. Like, and I was definitely not fine.
No.
But I wouldn't say if that's really like a fault on like you or anything, because you didn't know, and there's no way to like, there's no handbook for depression or anxiety. And then dealing with like growing up in your family, you know how they are, like, you don't talk about things like that. The way that they solve everything is, you know, religion and all that, and that it just doesn't work in that situation. Like, you, with depression and anxiety, you have to be like hands-on and know the signs and all that. And I don't know if you've really ever dealt with anybody that had anxiety and or depression and all that, which I don't know, did you, like, I feel like you probably had it, like dealing with me with CF and all that, and didn't realize it. Just like me, I thought my anxiety was just how people live. Like, I thought going into the store and feeling like everyone was staring at me and having freak out attacks in public, I was like, that's just normal. That's how people do. Because you remember, I used to freak out when little things would happen. If I went to pump gas and like the gas pump wouldn't work and I had to get an attendant, I would literally like have a panic attack. Because
God,
like,
that breaks my heart knowing that, because I know it now, like I see it now. Like, I've probably had it too. I probably had it and didn't recognize it, just like what you're saying. Because, I mean, when I think back to some of the things, you know, about you and you know, it's like, I mean, sometimes I do. I sit and blame it. Oh my God, you gave that to Morgan, you know, because that is anxiety, what you're feeling and what you're having. So, do you know, anxiety and depression, it really has not ever started getting a spotlight put on it until what? The past maybe 10 years? Really?
Yeah, really.
Because
I mean,
it was like everybody, it was so, you don't talk about that, you know? If you're depressed or you're anxiety or you're suicidal, you know, don't talk about that, because that means you're nuts. And, you know, you're not. You know, you're human. That makes you human. And
even the CF Foundation, they didn't start making mental health a priority to the last 5 years. Is when they start putting out programs and really like monitoring patients' mental health, because they learned, because I think growing up I had anxiety and like it was just anxiety. I don't know if I really had depression when I was younger. It was mainly just anxiety from what I remember. But really, once I started getting older and started grasping CF, and especially when I started making friends with CF, and then those friends die and all that, that's really when like it starts taking hold, like as I got older, and just kind of the whole realities of CF and that life expectancy, and whenever my lungs would drop really low and I'd just be like, crap, like, I don't know, it shifted. It, like, the anxiety turned into just like severe crippling depression. This one's from Amanda. Did your mom know she was a carrier of the CF gene before you were born? I'm curious to know if that would have changed her view on having children, if she knew CF could be a possible outcome. I also have CF, and you are extremely inspiring, and I really enjoy your channel. Thank you. You make me want to get more involved to help the fight against our awful disease. Thanks for your hard work on the vlogs. We appreciate it. Well, no problem. I love doing it because I know it helps you guys. And then I'll pass it to you. Would it have changed your mind if you knew I was gonna have CF and go through everything? Well, not just me, you. Like, just go through everything. And be honest. If you say yes, I'm not gonna be mad.
First of all, no, I did not know I carried the gene. I was one of 11 siblings, so I have 10 other siblings. We were all by the same parents, and I think that's important because there's so many grandkids in my family, yet Morgan is the only kid that was lucky enough to get chosen for CF. That's kind of how I look at it, I guess, or have to say it. I don't know. It's kind of...
You're going to Hollywood.
No, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I think like this. I mean, if you could wish something away, or if you could change something or whatever, you know, would we really do it? You know, I mean, maybe some things we would, but, you know, if I had to do all over again, and or you know, or knew that Morgan was going to have CF, I wouldn't have changed a thing, no, because I think it's that CF has made Morgan, well, not CF has made Morgan the person he is. Morgan.
I mean, it has in a way. Someone talked about this on my actual, I replied to a comment because a guy who has CF commented back, and he was like, that's a really weird thing to say, that you're thankful for CF. And I try to tell people in a way that the people that I grew up around, not most, like, a lot of both sides of the family, on yours and my dad's, not everybody, but a lot of them, you know, racist, homophobic, judgmental. They see the world in a very narrow view, and growing up in a hospital, you realize that you don't, like, there's more out there. Just like meeting people in the hospital and all that, you just realize there's the bigger picture, there's more to the world. Like, this narrow view that people grow up with, and like in these small towns and all that, like, if I didn't have CF, I might have just been one of them, and just kind of another, like, cog in the wheel, instead of someone who's really trying to actually inspire change.
Never. We're really fogging it up in here, but I can tell you this, that, I mean, you're going into the hospital the way that you have, and just being, you know, just like you said, being around so many different people, you know, it's been awesome. It really has. I mean, it has taught Morgan a lot. I mean, he's pretty much become the person that he is because of, you know, living with CF. So
you can say, like, I think people get that confused, where it's like, oh, so you're like, CF is you, it's like defining you. No, you can use the cards that you're dealt in unfortunate situations to shape your view of the world. So it's not that CF is me and that's all that I am, because it made me who I am, but it allowed me to have a different perspective on the world than everybody else. All right, this one's from Yasmina. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I pronounce everyone's name wrong. How did CF affect your parenting? Do you think that you were more lenient with him because of his mortality? Couldn't think of a better word. Like, I won't comment on him being a man whore. You describe yourself as a sex addict, because I don't know how much time he has left, and I want him to enjoy life as much as possible. In other words, are there things that you allowed him to do because he has CF that normally you would not have allowed him to do?
I let Morgan get away with a lot. I'm not gonna lie. And Morgan, I allowed Morgan to be his own person. Morgan went through a lot of phases. Like, if I could present pictures to you guys of Morgan's life and
at one point I wanted to be a rapper.
And the phases he went through, but I let him do that. Who's answering the questions?
I'm just saying, I went through a phase I wanted to be a rapper. I used to wear eyeliner, but I never dressed like an emo kid. I dressed like this weird trailer park goth. It was the weirdest look ever. I look like a swamp creature.
But I thought it was important to allow him to just express himself the way that he wanted to. I think CF did play a part in that, but you know what? That could go for anybody. If you're healthy or not, you know, I think that your kids should be allowed to express themselves, because that is, you know, that's just their way of growing up and you know, and learning acceptance in the world. I mean, it's just, you know, when they go through these crazy phases, like, you know, he went in through this goth phase and people called him a freak and whatever. Well, you know, he had already been dealing with that through his, you know, living with
after
CF.
Being called AIDS boy, it's like, huh, freak, that's funny.
I mean, I think I was definitely a little more lenient on him. I did not allow his dad to discipline him very much because, you know, I mean, it was, and I hate to admit some of these things, but it's just true, because in the back of my mind, you know, I'm always thinking, how much time has he got left? You know, oh my God, they've you know, give us this time, and he may not live to see, you know, his teenage years. I probably shouldn't have been so lenient. Like, you know, I probably should have, like, pulled back the reins a little bit on some of the things he did, because, you know, when he started the tattoos and you know, and I didn't really care so much about that because I knew that was a thing of his expression as well, you know, and his first piercing, I think, what were you, like 14? Yeah. And I did sign for that because, of course, that was, you know, another thing of what he wanted to do. So, I mean, I did allow him to do these things, I guess because, you know, I just wanted him to feel maybe normal. If that's the way that it made him feel normal, you know, if he could relate somehow that, hey, everybody else is doing it and I want to fit in, then, you know, I allowed Morgan to do it.
God, I went the wrong path because nobody else was doing that look. I set myself up for failure with that one.
Well, I mean,
but with like the man whore thing, that I wouldn't say any of your leniency had anything to do with that. I think that was my brain. That was how I, like, being wanted by all these people and having sex. I was like, it was a way for me to, like, battle, like, how demons? I hated it.
Don't blame the man whore stuff on me.
Yeah, I don't see how they could blame that on you.
Because
just like, my mom was renting me prostitutes when I was 10.
No, I mean, I don't think you can blame the man whoreness on me, because, you know, and
I really, like, I didn't get crazy promiscuous, like 20, I think, or something like that I really just kind of went off the rails and was having sex with whoever, like, girls, groups of girls, guys, whoever I wanted to go for. I was like, we're just gonna do this. This makes me feel good. But really, I was just kind of using it to cover other emotions, really. But can't really blame you. That'd be really weird to blame you for that. That'd be like that'd be like some West Virginia stuff right there. Sorry, people from West Virginia. Y'all know you got stereotyped.
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh my God. Okay.
But no, that was a good answer. But yeah, definitely I would say you were definitely lenient with me, more so than other people's parents, because you let me play in bands, you let me go kind of do whatever, stay the night with people. But I think you also were lenient because you knew you didn't have to worry about me. I didn't really do a lot as a teenager. Like, my craziness and drug abuse and all that happened like 20s and all that. Like, I was actually a pretty good teenager, other than, like,
honest to God, for the most part you were.
Other than looking really scary with my weird looks and wanting to be a rapper and all that. I never did anything. Like, I never snuck out. I never lied or anything.
I don't know, but there you go. Did that answer that one pretty good?
Yeah, I'd say so. And this question, we're not sure who asked it because she looked through a lot of these and have picked them out, but we have a limited time frame here for vlogs. I have a comment that this is your question that you asked. The final question, what was it?
It was about, oh my gosh, I'm having a senior citizen moment. I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. I just told you the question.
Do you feel me having CF made us closer?
There we go. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just can tell you right now that this guy right here, you know, it was almost like, you know, he was just like my best little bud. I mean, I was mom, I was teacher, I was nurse, I was all these things in his life. But, you know, I mean, you know, he always stayed with me, and I liked the fact that I knew he was okay, he was safe, he was doing his treatments, he was doing his, you know, everything he needed to do. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, he was, you know, still living at my house, and I was like a-okay with that. You know, I guess some people kind of think that is crazy, but let me tell you what just recently was posted, and science is proving this. People truly never mature until their 30s. You could have stayed with mama a few more years.
I think I'm good.
Doggone it.
I think that would have deteriorated my mental state even more.
Oh my God. Anyways, yes. Well, I think it has definitely made us close because, you know, we were just allowed so much time, you know, spent. And I just was very open and honest with Morgan in every way. I was tough love, but yet I think, you know, I think it worked.
I'd say it worked.
I think it worked. I think, you know, if you are not honest with your children, I think you're making a huge mistake. Don't you?
I mean, for sure. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. A lot of parents with CF, they kind of like tiptoe around sensitive subjects, and they try to tell their kids with CF that they make it out to where like everything's gonna be okay. And no, it's bullshit. Like, you don't know that. You totally don't know if everything's gonna be okay, you know? Like, every CF affects everyone different. Like, you tell your kid that, and all of a sudden they're on the transplant list or having to have these crazy surgeries. Like, no, like, be straight up. And especially with the long-term care thing, so many parents message me asking like, oh, I got my kid just turned, you know, a teenager, and they're not doing their treatments and they're rebelling and all that. And
yeah, there was sometimes that he tried to rebel, but now I just told him, you know, the consequences of it.
Exactly.
And then we've had very, very good doctors to tell Morgan the consequences of it. So I got to give kudos to the medical teams that Morgan has had through his life. Dr. Coggins, you're awesome still.
Dr. Black too. Don't forget Dr. Black.
Dr. Black, yeah, Dr.
We're not going to
Ash.
mention anybody at Duke because they were terrible at the time. They had cockroaches.
Oh my God. Anyways, the biggest thing I think that made us close to is, you know, I've tried to make sure that keep Morgan humble, or to keep Morgan, you know, like grounded, like not getting too high, you know, or thinking he's better than anybody, or you know, or looking down on anybody, and never being ashamed that he has CF. I think there's some people in the CF community that are, maybe they're a little bit ashamed that they have CF, and you know, it's just nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, you need to cough, you know, you need to do whatever. I mean, you know, to take your treatments and to keep yourself well. My hands were wore out from doing, you know, chest compressions or chest PT, sorry, on Morgan. Okay, you can cut this out or add it or whatever. But when, you know, you've got a picture of you walking, like, you know, like when you were doing the cross country thing, and, you know, and you're walking with the vest on, you know, so you're getting your therapy. I mean, yeah, you're walking, and that's doing airway clearance as well. But when you've got the, you know, when you've got the vest on, I mean, man, you getting double teamed. That don't sound good, but you know, you're
getting CF therapy gangbanged.
Oh well. So yeah, we got off the beaten path, but
yes, I would say that it made us closer, for sure.
There you go.
Not sure how we got to the vests from there, but see, look, I get my vlogging from her because I just ramble.
Yeah,
I just ramble.
It's terrible.
That's why I hate editing my vlogs, because it's literally 45 minutes of me rambling, and I have to cut it down to like 12 to 15.
But you know what that is? It's not rambling. It's honesty. It's raw and honest.
Honesty's the best policy. All right, I'm gonna cut you off. You're gonna keep talking.
All right.
But that's it, guys. Thank you for all your questions. Like I said, we'll get together again and answer more if we didn't get to it on this one right here. As always, be sure to like me on social media. All of my links are down here. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss any notifications from me in the future. Thanks for watching. This is my mom. She's been answering all your questions. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Later.